Right now, a cold front is barreling towards southern Australia, and if you live anywhere from Perth to Melbourne to Hobart, what happens in the next 48 hours could catch you completely off guard. But here is the thing most people are not talking about. That cold front is only the beginning. Behind it, a massive thunderstorm outbreak is building across Queensland that could dump over 200 millimetres of rain in just 24 hours. 200 millimetres. That is enough to turn dry creek beds into raging torrents overnight. And I'm going to walk you through every single city, every single timeline, so you know exactly when this hits your area. But first, let me tell you why this forecast is different from what you have heard elsewhere. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds because I am about to reveal which major Australian city is sitting right in the crosshairs of the most dangerous weather window this week. And at the 5-minute mark, I will show you the exact day next week when the models agree on a potential severe weather escalation that very few forecasters are highlighting yet. This is the kind of detail that could genuinely change how you plan your entire week. So let us start with what is happening right now on the satellite imagery because the picture tells a dramatic story. South of Australia, over the Southern Ocean and the Great Australian Bight, there is a massive band of speckled cloud. That speckled pattern is the textbook signature of a classic cold front. It is not subtle, it is not weak, and it is already pushing into Tasmania as we speak. Now here is where things get interesting. You might be wondering, what about that tropical cyclone everyone was tracking? Tropical cyclone Mitchell has been downgraded. It is now an ex-Cyclone nearly completely falling apart over the southern parts of Western Australia. But do not let that fool you into thinking the danger has passed. The remnants of Mitchell are still throwing moisture and a few thunderstorms into South Australia, so even a dying cyclone has teeth. That leftover moisture is feeding into the broader weather pattern, and it is one of the reasons why the thunderstorm setup for later this week looks so significant. Let me break this down city by city because that is what you actually need. Hobart and Tasmania. The cold front is moving through right now. You are getting thunderstorms and rain, mostly hitting the western side of the ranges and mountains. The timing here is critical. The heaviest rain pushes through during today, Wednesday. Then tonight, the colder air flow moves in behind the front. When you wake up Thursday morning, this system will be clearing away from Tasmania. By lunchtime Thursday, it is gone. But here is the twist. You will be left with southwesterly winds and plenty of showers on the west coast. The east coast stays mostly dry. So if you are in Launceston versus the west coast, you are living in two completely different weather worlds. Melbourne and Victoria. This is the city I hinted at earlier. Melbourne, you are sitting right in the path of this cold front, and here is your timeline. Late Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening, that is when the change arrives. Before it hits, you might actually experience warm to hot conditions. Do not be fooled by that warmth. It is the calm before the cold. By 7 o'clock Eastern time this evening, showers and possibly even thunderstorms will be moving through coastal and southern parts of Victoria. The rain clears during Thursday morning, shifting out to the east. After that, you are looking at dry conditions as high pressure builds in. But here is what most people will miss. The wind direction shifts to easterly, and that easterly flow is going to stick around for days. That easterly breeze is actually coming from the south originally, curving around the high pressure system. So even though it feels like an onshore breeze, it carries cooler air from the south. Melbourne, you know how quickly your weather can flip. This time, once the cool change arrives Wednesday evening, it sticks. No bounce back to heat on Thursday. The high pressure locks it in. Now, do not skip ahead because the next part is crucial for anyone in New South Wales and Queensland. What is building up there makes this cold front look like a warm-up act. Adelaide and South Australia, you are getting a taste of everything this week. The remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Mitchell are sending some moisture your way, a few thunderstorms spilling over into your region, Wednesday into Thursday. Expect that cool change to link up into parts of South Australia. The weekend looks dry and pleasant as high pressure takes control. But Adelaide, your big moment comes next Tuesday. Mark that date on your calendar. Hot northerly winds push down toward Adelaide, and then from the western side of the coast, a southerly change sweeps in ahead of the next high pressure zone. Tuesday could swing from hot to cool in a matter of hours. That is a temperature whiplash event you need to prepare for. Perth and Western Australia. Southern Western Australia is under the grip of high pressure, which means dry and settled conditions for most of you through the weekend and into early next week. Enjoy it while it lasts. Perth, you are looking at classic summer high pressure weather. Clear skies, warm days, light winds. If you have outdoor plans this weekend, you are golden. And this is the part that surprised me when I looked at the models, heat is going to start dropping southward through Western Australia later in the week. The interior is cooking and that hot air is being pushed south by the pressure gradient. Then on Monday, a cooler southerly breeze pushes through just south of Bunbury. If you are near Margaret River or anywhere on the southwest corner, Monday morning is when you feel that change. The polar boundary literally parks itself just south of your region. North of Bunbury, you stay hot. South of Bunbury, the cooler air wins. That line is razor sharp. Now here is where I promised you the real story. Queensland, this is your section, and what is coming deserves your full attention. Brisbane and southeast Queensland. Friday is your day to watch. Here is what is happening in the atmosphere. A low pressure system in the Coral Sea combines with low pressure inland, while high pressure balloons out near Sydney toward Lord Howe Island. Between those pressure systems, the air gets squeezed. Think of it like pinching a garden hose. The winds accelerate, northerly winds pour down the Great Dividing Range, and that convergence zone fires up thunderstorms and heavy downpours. On Friday, southeast Queensland could see 80 millimetres in 24 hours. 80 millimetres is already significant, but here is the shocking number. By Saturday, the models are projecting up to 150 millimetres in just 24 hours across parts of Queensland. 150 millimetres. That is not a shower. That is not a passing storm. That is a serious rainfall event, and it does not stop there. On Sunday, those severe thunderstorms that have been hammering inland Queensland start dropping south into New South Wales. This is the pattern shift that makes this week different from a normal tropical thunderstorm outbreak. The storms are not staying in the tropics. They are migrating south, following the low pressure channels. And anyone from the New South Wales northern tablelands to the mid-north coast needs to be watching the radar closely on Sunday. The models from both the European Centre and the American Global Forecast System agree on this. When two major global models line up like that, you pay attention. Forecasters get nervous when the models disagree. But when they agree on a high-impact event like this, the confidence level jumps considerably. Speaking of those models, let me give you the numbers that should make everyone in Queensland sit up straight. The European model is showing over 200 millimetres of accumulated rainfall for parts of Queensland over the next week. The northeast corner of New South Wales is looking at up to 100 millimetres or more. The American model paints a very similar picture. There is very little disagreement between the two, and when the models agree this strongly, confidence in the forecast goes up significantly. Canberra and the Australian Capital Territory. I have not forgotten about our nation's capital. You are in an interesting spot this week. As high pressure builds to your south and low pressure dominates to the north, you end up with north to northeasterly breezes. That means mild to warm conditions with the chance of a few showers, especially early next week. Monday and Tuesday, keep an umbrella handy. You are not in the severe weather zone, but you are close enough to the action that a few showers could drift your way. The Northern Territory and the Kimberley, this is your wet season doing exactly what it does best. Thunderstorms, showers, tropical downpours. The models show similar rainfall totals around the top end and the Kimberley to what Queensland is expecting. For Darwin and the surrounding areas, this is February being February. But the intensity is still worth monitoring, especially if you are travelling through remote areas where roads can flood quickly. Keep checking road conditions before heading out on any long drives through the Territory. Sydney and coastal New South Wales, I have not forgotten about you. Sydney, your story this week is one of relative calm compared to what is happening to the north and south. High pressure building near you and out towards Lord Howe Island means mostly dry conditions through the end of the week. But do not get complacent. By Sunday, as those Queensland thunderstorms push south, the northern parts of New South Wales start to see action. If you are on the north coast, around Coffs Harbour, Port Macquarie, or up near Byron Bay, Sunday and into early next week is when you need to pay closer attention. Sydney itself might pick up a few showers from the tail end of this system, but the heavy rain stays further north. Now, here is the information I promised you at the 5-minute mark. Next Tuesday is shaping up to be a pivotal day across multiple states. South Australia faces that hot to cold swing as northerlies collide with an incoming southerly change. New South Wales could still be dealing with the tail end of Queensland's thunderstorm outbreak pushing south. A tropical low near New Caledonia starts to pull away, which is good news for southern Queensland as drier skies finally return to the southeast. But the far north continues with its usual thunderstorm pattern. So let me give you the complete timeline summary so you can plan your week. Wednesday today, Cold front moves through Tasmania and into Victoria. Warm to hot ahead of the change, then showers and thunderstorms this evening for Melbourne and coastal Victoria. Ex-tropical cyclone Mitchell S remnants affect southern Western Australia and parts of South Australia. Thursday, cold front clears Tasmania by early morning. Victoria clears during the morning hours. Southwesterly winds and west coast showers for Tasmania. Most of New South Wales dry, except for some border and southeast coastal showers. Friday, the big shift begins. Southeast Queensland thunderstorms fire up. 80 millimetres possible in 24 hours. High pressure keeps southern states dry. Saturday, Queensland's most intense day of the entire week, up to 150 millimetres in 24 hours. Severe thunderstorms likely through inland Queensland. Northern New South Wales starts getting some action. Sunday, thunderstorms from Queensland push south into northern New South Wales. High pressure around Tasmania keeps the far south completely dry. Easterly winds along the coast. Monday, Western Australia air's southwest corner finally gets that cooler southerly change arriving in the morning. Heat pushes into South Australia. Showers possible for the Australian Capital Territory and parts of the New South Wales coast. Tuesday, South Australia's dramatic temperature whiplash day. Hot northerlies sweep in and then a southerly change cuts through coastal areas. The tropical low shifts toward New Caledonia, bringing relief to parts of Queensland. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now telling me where you are watching from, your city, your town, your region, whether you are up in Townsville, out in Broken Hill, down in the Barossa Valley, or anywhere in between. I want to know. I read every single comment and I will make sure your area gets covered in detail in the next forecast. Whether you are in Cairns watching those tropical thunderstorms build, sitting in the Gold Coast wondering how much rain is heading your way, or down in Geelong wondering if the cold front will bring anything significant, tell me your location and I will speak directly to your forecast in the next video. One more thing before I go, because this is important. Nothing in this forecast should alarm you. Australia has dealt with cold fronts and tropical thunderstorms for as long as weather has existed. The key is preparation, not panic. Know your timelines. Know when the change hits your area. Have a plan for heavy rain if you are in Queensland or northern New South Wales this weekend. Check your gutters, make sure your drains are clear, and if you are in a flood-prone area, know your escape routes. Simple steps make a massive difference. If you found this forecast useful, share it with someone in your family or community who needs to know what is coming. The more people who are prepared, the safer we all are. And here is your teaser for tomorrow's forecast. There is something developing in the models for late next week that I have not mentioned today. It involves a new pressure system forming in a location that could reshape the entire weather pattern across eastern Australia. I'm not going to say more than that right now because the models need another 24 hours to lock in the details. But if what I am seeing holds together, it'll be the biggest weather story of the week and it could affect millions of Australians. Make sure you catch tomorrow's update so you do not miss it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so it comes straight to you. That is your complete Australian weather breakdown. Remember, Friday through Sunday is the window to watch for Queensland. Wednesday evening is Melbourne's moment of change. And Tuesday next week, Adelaide, that is your day to prepare for the temperature swing. Stay weather aware, stay safe, and I will see you in the